Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of Day in the Bay. Now this one's a bit of a special episode because we've actually got returning to the Bay Tom with his Mk4 Golf. Now if you remember back, he was actually featured in our very first episode of Day in the Bay. So he wants to bring his car back in, get it ready for the show season. Now luckily it's just been sat on his drive for 9 months and just needs a bit of a light restoration. So we're going to be using our correction compound followed by our finishing wax to just revive that paint. It's got a few kind of dried water spots on there, enhance the gloss and give it some protection ready for the shows. So last time you were here we gave the car a full hit using the Ultimate system. So the paint's in actually really good condition. It doesn't need a kind of heavy restoration. But what it does have is kind of surface water staining where the water is just sat on there and been magnified in the sun and just needs to remove, so it's slightly stained the paint. So we're going to use the correction compound with the correction pad to quickly remove that and enhance gloss. Then we're going to follow it up with a finishing wax to further that gloss enhancement, but also refine after compounding and add wax protection. So it's a nice good all-rounder. So it contains the carnauba properties to give it protection and gloss, but also the polymers to make it nice and slick and easy to work with. So it's a nice, simple system to use. Prior to it coming into the bay, the car's been given a deep clean outside using our Wash Plus. Now that's got polishing agents in to give it a deep scrub. And then we brought it into the bay, give it a dry off, and then we've actually lightly clayed the surface to remove any kind of above surface contaminants that there's around the car. Now luckily there wasn't that much to do. So we're going to want to get onto the fun stuff. Now before using this, we want to prime the pad. You do this at the start of the detail, so it's a light amount of product on there, and the main goal is to turn that white pad pink. Now, microfibers are a bit different to foam pads. They need maintenance between panels. So between each panel, what we're going to do is get a pad brush like this, turn the machine on a slow speed and just clear out any kind of dried residues that's going to be on there. This means that we can get the car done in nice, easy time and not dragging product around the paint. So per section, I'm going to use 5 little dots like this. We're going to follow all the same rules we did last time. Cable over the shoulder, stamp out the work area, spread the product at a light speed. So this way everywhere's got an equal share. And then we're going to do our hashtag polishing. We're going to go up and down, left and right. We're just going to do 2 nice easy passes. That's all you need, because we're just gently working the surface, not giving it an overhaul because it doesn't need it. And again, we're going to avoid areas like this. We're going to work up to them rather than over them, because it's the smallest amount of paint on the car. We don't want to take unnecessary paint off. So swirl and defect removal, we've got 4.8 to 5.8, but we're not going to go that high. We're just going to go up to the polishing speed because we're gently working the surface. So we're going to go up to 4.8 and nice fluid arm movements. I love this correction compound so much that on the Mercedes keys I actually keep some of it in case there's an emergency. Now you never know when you're going to get to a car show and someone's like, I've got a little scuff, little swirl or anything like that. Don't worry, they alwa's got you. As long as I'm at the show with the Merc and a machine polisher and an extension lead and there's electricity provided, they always got you. It can help. So the key to using our microfiber system is making sure that you clean out the pad after each section of the car. Now this is nice and simple. You can either use a brush like this or a vacuum cleaner. All it's doing is removing any kind of residue from the product, from the pad, that's going to be absorbed by the microfiber. It just means that you're going to keep cutting and keep using the product as you should. So all you need to do is turn the machine on. So maintaining the pad between each panel, make sure that you're getting the most out of the pad and the product. So now we've addressed the kind of the hardened water spots on the car, we want to start refining the gloss and giving it some protection. So we're done with the cutting disc. So the difference between the cutting disc and the finishing disc is just the foam on the back look. So this resembles our finishing disc that we use on our foam system. And the burgundy is exactly the same foam as our burgundy cutting disc. The microfibre on the top is exactly the same. So we've got the finishing pad with our finishing wax. Now this contains properties in it to refine after compounding. So it's going to leave it with a real nice streak-free finish, but also a high gloss, and then that carnauba protection to give it that beading and water repellency. So we've done the compounding, we removed those water spots because there wasn't really any swells and scratches because you've not done anything to the car. So we removed those kind of hardened water spots. Now we want to start refining the gloss and giving it protection. So we're moving on to our finishing pad. So it's the exact same amount of microfibre, but the difference is the thickness of foam on the back. So it's super soft on the paint, so we're really backing off the pressure. Okay. So with that, we're going to use less time, less effort, and less product, which is always good for everyone.
We know.
So, because we're not overworking the surface, all we need is a fine bit of wax on there. So just enough to get a nice coverage on the pad. We're going to give ourselves more surface area to do, but for the sake of the video, I'll do half the bonnet and you can do the rest of it.
No,
but normally, when doing the waxing, you could do the whole panel.
Yeah.
So we're going to get the whole car covered in the wax, let it cure, and buff it off.
We know.
So, I'm going to stamp out a work area. Like I say, this has got some key properties in it that enhance the gloss after compounding, but it also has the carnauba properties to give that colour real depth of gloss. So we're going to spread it on the slowest speed. We work the compound at 4/8.
Yeah.
We're just going to do a nice, simple, easy pass at 3/8 with this one because we're just gently feeding it into the paint, we're not working it. Things have moved on since you've last been here. So our previous detailer that we used on the car was the Ultimate. Now we've got a new step up from that. So this is our hybrid ceramic detailer. So this is taking the ceramic properties that you want from a hardened protection and putting it in a nice mist and white product. So it's going to boost existing protection and sealants, enhance gloss, and then you can use it as shows as well to remove fingerprints, light dust as well. And it's as simple as just a mist and white. So we just get a brand new finishing towel, light mist and product on there. Now this is great for finishing after any kind of machine polishing, because what we can do is highlight any leftover residue as well as giving it gloss as well as boosting protection. So grab the finishing towel and all we need to do is just gently wipe. So to avoid white lines, go one way with one side of the towel, flip to the opposite side and then buff the opposite way. This way you won't get white lines at the car show.
Right.
detail is not just for removing fingerprints and light dust, it's actually putting a layer of hybrid ceramic protection on the car, whilst also bonding to existing sealants or wax. So today's episode of Day in the Bay has been a bit different. So we've shown you how to kind of revive a car that's already had show prep done to it. So this car had been previously in the bay, and we've done a lot to it to make it sure it looked fantastic for last year's show season. And then it's come back and we've done quick and easy steps to revive that show finish and protect it for longevity. Now, for more content like this, make sure you like, share and subscribe, tap that notification bell to be notified on when the next Meguiars video is released, and thanks for watching.